You are listening to the 2.5 Weebs podcast, a show where two veteran anime fans drag a newbie down the rabbit hole of waifus, isekai, and fan service, as well as the happenings in the gaming world. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week of 2.5 Weebs. Hello. We're with Copper and Comfy as always. How are you guys doing?
Good. One thing I did forget to mention before we started is I kind of hope my power stays on.
Oh,
We're having a blizzard here, and the power has actually flickered a few times already. So
okay.
You know,
yeah, I'm
love those blizzards.
Yeah, there's definitely a blizzard outside, and by that I mean a blizzard.
If you're super worried about it, we could just like.
No, that's be fine.
All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I see Comfy has fired up Trials.
Yes,
I like
at
it.
your recommendation.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed watching you play that when you did it with the podcast. So.
Well, it's a wild bunch of physics. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So, So hey, what did we watch this week?
So we watched Tower of God.
Yeah.
Which, man, that was a show. I liked it.
How many episodes are out on that show right now?
There are right now 3. The fourth one should be out.
Yeah, that's right.
And today or the next couple of days.
Weren't you saying it was a Wednesday release?
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday drop. I know this because I watched the first 2 episodes on Tuesday, and then was like really, really mad at myself because I didn't have the 3rd episode to watch, and I really wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
had
watched
to wait like a solid 15-20 minutes.
I waited until they were all out before I started in on it, and I'm not sad that I did because I liked watching them in a row. Right, it was nice.
Got it. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah, binge it was nice.
I've always been a fan of binging things, but yeah. Especially when you just don't have a ton of time to watch stuff. It's just easier if you could just say fuck it and binge it. However,
you have to spread it out over a longer period of time.
I also, especially like, I don't know if you guys are watching this new season of Clone Wars.
I actually just caught up.
I really wish I could have just binged it. But yeah. Anyway, that has become a good show. But anyway, Tower of God. Who made this? It had a very unique art style, and I liked it.
It's actually a Crunchyroll original.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
So Crunchyroll's actually directly involved in the making of this. The art style is very free-flowing, loose line.
Yeah, it's
that's
very.
Something to mention. It's rough is actually a good word for it. Even though
like not in a negative connotation. Like the lines are literally rough lines.
Yes, they are.
That's
intentionally. Like it's the art style that they've chosen.
It's the style. For lack of a better term, it looks like someone was drawing the defining lines with a black crayon. Like, because it's rough and cut up, and it doesn't really stick all the way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which I saw it initially and was like, this is going to take me a little while to get used to. And then about 5 minutes later, I had completely forgotten it was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of how it works, though. You can adjust to different styles relatively quickly.
Yeah, so it's a very rough, sketchy type style for a lot of the lines inside, like a lot of the scenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not bad. Like, it's not
I kind of dig
bad
it
at all. It's actually a nice change.
It's pretty not saturated as well color wise.
Yes, it's not the only anime I've seen do this, but it's been a while since I've seen this style done. And I think part of it may have been them basically wanting to keep
the webtoon style.
Yeah, that webtoon feel.
That's what I was attributing it to. I was like, yeah, they probably want to keep the same feel that they originally had when they were making it.
Yeah.
So why not just
which is cool.
I mean, listen, if people were restylizing everything every time they made it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure would be a garbage anime because it would look like everything else and it would not be unique in any way and it'd be really weird.
Yes.
But instead they changed the style every season, so But that's sticking to their own style was definitely a good choice, and I definitely liked it.
Yeah, you don't often see places do that. It's not all the time. I'll be like, hey, here's her style, right? So
a lot of the times, and you see it a lot, especially with all these different isekai animes we saw last season. There is a very. Do you guys hear that?
yeah.
Sounds like a beeping. Are you getting a delivery of bees? Is that is that the bee truck backing
I
up?
don't know what that was. There was just violent beeping outside.
It sounds like just a construction truck backing up, you know?
Who's doing construction?
I don't know.
It's the fuzz. I completely lost my train of thought.
I don't know. I got very distracted. But also, if it was a delivery of bees, it would be the buzz, Fatal.
Oh, thank you, Fatal. Fatal just. So
Yes.
you see it a lot with a lot of like the isekais and stuff, the very generic shows. There's a very basic, like low ball anime style that a lot of companies will just kind of go off of. If I want to attribute a studio to being guilty of this the most, I'm gonna throw A1 under the bus. Because have you seen Sword Art Online? It love the show or hate it. Like regardless, I personally think it gets much better as it goes on, but it starts as a pile of garbage. Like it is the most generic anime style, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But you can acknowledge that it is a style that everybody's choosing, and I like that a lot more companies are going out on a limb and doing weird art styles. I mean, like I've also talked shit about Beastars because I hate how it looks, but I'm glad that they're doing something different.
It's also a good show. Beastars is weird for its animation, but it's a decent.
I've actually heard
show.
I've heard more good things from it since we've mentioned it.
Now that said, it gets it goes from 0 to 100 super quick. In terms of the more adult area of its content.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But it does this world building really nicely because it's all, animal people. And the world is thus filled with carnivores and herbivores. They actually address things like the fact that there are people who are meat eaters and they live in a society where there's people who are the prey they would normally eat. Right, and then they have to address how that actually functions in society, and they do, which is nice.
I've never seen that show.
It's on Netflix. It is a furry show, but don't worry, we have another furry show that we're going to talk about this week that we're not going to watch yet, but we will eventually.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
I am very worried.
Listen, Gleipnir is not that bad. I want to point out that I was getting shit talked because I said I liked B&A, and then the same guy who was shit talking me and calling me a furry was like, "Man, have you guys seen Gleipnir?"
Gleipnir.
We'll talk about it later, and you'll see why this is funny.
Okay, so Tower of God purposely has a bit crustier art for season 1 just to be faithful to the original. Somebody says, Is this a remake?
Yeah, that's what we were saying. They're keeping the feel of.
It was a webtoon.
The webtoon, the comic, right?
A Korean webtoon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Crunchyroll actually has the link to the original webtoon on the page for it on PC.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
So, basically, we open up and it gives us like a short introduction, and it does the whole like, "Will you climb the Tower of God?" Sort of intro.
Yeah,
I have a synopsis. I will go
you have
over
the
here.
synopsis?
Do it.
All right,
Yes.
go for it, Dad. I trust you.
So, here.
Will you climb the tower? Also, can we just agree that like the giant like dragon lizard alligator dude is the best character?
Dude, I actually
him?
really like that guy.
He's
He's
really neat.
Yeah.
As long as we can agree. Cool, thank you.
Like they have a little bit of humor, but it's not like overdone.
Yeah,
They
there's
balance it really well.
there is humor in this. It is balanced super well with how they're doing the content. I
Yeah.
can see why this is going by the anime. I can see why people are attracted to the web.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I was almost immediately sucked in.
All right, so the first episode called Ball. So just going to run through the quick synopsis of these. So the 3 episodes we watched were Ball, 3 400ths, and The Correct Door. So Ball is our first episode. Starts off with a girl named Rachel running down a cave, and our protagonist Bam closing in behind her. Bam asks where she's going as a giant gate opens up behind them, and Rachel lets know she's going to climb the tower. She disappears into the gates, and Bam suddenly finds himself on the first floor with a floorkeeper named Hedon. Hedon explains to him that to climb the tower, he must follow a set of tests from each floor and introduce his own test to reach and break the ball behind a giant white steel-covered eel. Before he can enter the cage to take the test, a girl named Yuri lands her foot on his face and chastises him in a language he can't understand. Her partner, Evan, gives Bam a pocket, which is an item in the tower that people use for various things, so they can communicate. Hedon warns Yuri that she could not interfere by helping a floor climber or else she could be executed. Yuri rubs this off and explains that she can't get in trouble if nobody finds out, and that she's curious about this irregular, capital I. People are broken into groups. Bam happens to be an irregular. She proceeds to help Bam out by lending him her Black March weapon to fight the eel. Bam steps in the cage and lets himself eaten, cut it up from the inside, and goes to break the ball after the creature spits him out. He has trouble breaking it, so Evan suggests that he requests a boost of strength from the Black March, to which he does, and it responds. The weapon shows its spiritual form and breaks the ball, sending them to the next floor.
Can we point out that like the weapon like opens up and a woman pops out?
Yes, the spiritual form is a woman, and the princess does get mad. She's like, it never responded to me. It's like, was it prefer man? And the spirit's like, yes.
The spirit looks at her and like winks and like sticks out her tongue. He's like, yeah.
Once on the next floor, Bam discovers the next test is to kill half of the floor's contestants, and is soon surrounded by other hunters. That's the end of our first episode. These episodes are paced super well too, I found.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I felt like they weren't really doing what a lot of shows do, where they kind of leave you with a cliffhanger, and it's like, all right, good luck next episode. They kind of lead into it a little bit.
Yes, they lead into the next episode, but it's not a hard cliffhanger so far.
Yeah. So what they could have done was they could have dropped in and then been like, okay, here's the next region, and then cut and then show the tagline of like, what was it, 3 out of 400s, and then like cut it there. And they could have not given you any more context to the situation. Instead, they start the round.
Yes,
which is
so
very well done.
2 and 3 400s. Bam finds himself surrounded by hunters Kuhn and Rack. Kuhn finds interest with Bam since he is carrying the Black March and decides to form an alliance with him. With half the fighters dead, the next request is announced to find a total of 3 members to team up with and touch by the end of the countdown, which is 5 minutes or something like that. When Rack is the only living being nearby, Bam and Kuhn try to convince him, but he becomes naive. He basically just doesn't give a shit about. He's not so much naive as he doesn't give a shit about.
He is Copper's.
Rack is introduced as this giant alligator, like kobold-ish, dragonborn-esque character.
Yes, who only cares about hunting the strong.
Yeah,
he reminds me of a turtle from a certain D&D game.
Portal, if you will.
Now, he calls them turtles. To be fair,
I understand that.
He does
he's
actually
just kind of like
turtle. He's Rack Wraith Dresser. Sorry, Rack-san.
So he's basically ignoring the situation, just wants to fight Bam with his weapon. Seeing no other option, they forcibly hold on to him until the last second of the countdown.
They hug him. They hug him to death.
Do.
Yes. Elsewhere, the test administrator, Leroy Rose, challenge for those remaining is to pass his Sinshu water barrier. All but Bam, who passes with believed luck, are pushed back by the water, but mostly are eventually able to pass the barrier. The victors are taken to another room where the third test will take place, and a blonde figure watches the group and instantly recognizes Kuhn. And in our last episode, The Correct Door, the test director, Hansun Yu, who is the blonde guy who recognizes Kuhn, announces that subject of the test, Rack, throws a tantrum, and Bang calms him down. Meanwhile, the gears in Kuhn's head are turning, and second by second, time moves forward. And what will they do? And that's basically the end of that synopsis. The third one doesn't have a huge synopsis written up for it.
So really quick, I want to point out the important parts of this that we skipped over with the synopsis was Rack was very, very angry that they all became friends at the end because he just wanted to hunt them.
Yes.
Yes, he
And
just wants to fight.
he was pacified by chocolate bars.
Yes.
And
So
it was just
he ended up getting hungry, and he's like, "Here's chocolate." He's like, "Oh."
he's like hungry, and then Kun just reaches out. Kun, this dude with like blue hair and shit. He's the anime character.
Yeah, and he just offers.
He literally
it's
is like,
so good.
he reaches into like a school bag that he has that he's been using to fight with, and he hands it out. He hands him a chocolate bar. He's like, "What?" And then Rack eats the chocolate and is like, "This is the greatest thing ever. Give me more chocolate." And then in the background, while they're conversing, you just see him eating piles and piles of chocolate bars.
It's hilarious. I actually,
One thing I felt when I was watching this is that this show, the feeling of this show, like how the characters like interact and all that stuff, reminded me greatly of Hunter x Hunter.
Mondays, was it you who told me that this was all the good things about Hunter x Hunter, and like that was it? Was it
Like,
you who made that comparison?
Somebody I'm not surprised if other people did. It's like it was such a feeling when I was watching this. I'm like, wow, this reminds me of Hunter so much, and I love that show. I'm like, okay, like this is cool. Like this is a thing I can get behind. So, you know, it's if that's what it's going to remind me of, and I watched that show from start to finish, and it's a long show.
I do also. I have Mondays in my chat who ended up binging the entire webtoon. So
oh wow!
Okay.
He will he wants to join voice chat for discussion. I'm just gonna keep him fact checking. Poor Paul.
Yeah, it's
next time.
This show I think is gonna live up to the hype stuff, and I think people are gonna be super happy with it.
Oh, quick third episode synopsis. They are in a waiting room for the puzzle, and there's a timer going on, and every time that the timer ticks past 5, people scream. Past 5 minutes, people will scream. And so they're all sitting there trying to figure out what the answer to the puzzle is, and some weird dude walks up. He's like, "Hey, just do something before 5 minutes."
Yeah, the answer is before 5 minutes.
I love
and
how
then they walk in. There's 12 red doors, and the proctor for the test is basically says you have 10 minutes. Pick the correct door.
Yep.
And there's a clock that instead of 12, it has 10 on it. It's counting down. They sit there. They're arguing. Kun's sitting there. He's super methodical. He's trying to figure everything out. It's at 4 minutes and 58 seconds, and Rack just kicks open the nearest door and says that he was confident, and they won.
Yeah, and then it turns out you just open any door.
You have to pick
within
a
5
door
minutes.
before the time.
Yes, the clock was intervals of 5. It was 1 to 10. And the important thing was that the clock, which was told was 10 minutes, and they said was 10 minutes, and it had 10 listed on it, was still a 5-minute clock, and it was just supposed to stress them out.
Yeah, the interesting thing is the clock isn't a 10-minute clock. They say they have 10 minutes, but the clock in the room is actually counting down at double time, which we find out because there's actually a character who makes note of this, that the clock is actually moving at double speed, and this is obvious that we're supposed to pick something at that before the timer runs out.
Yeah, I did. With the moment that the dude said like outside, it was like all of them are screaming after 5. I was like, oh, they just need to pick something before 5 minutes is up. Like, I was able to figure it out. It wasn't very hard, but imagine being in that situation. That's got to be stressful.
Yes,
the clock going down twice as fast as you think it is, and your life is on the line. Like, that's spooky.
Well, the tests are meant to weed people out.
Oh yeah. These tests are whether you have the ability to climb the tower. This is not even the tower.
Yeah, this is not the tower itself. These tests are designed to make it so that you get permission to climb the tower, or at least attempt to.
Yeah.
And they make it very plain that the tower is extremely dangerous. You will die if you're not prepared. And so they're basically doing these super cruel, difficult tests, because otherwise, there's going to be people entering who shouldn't be. And if people know that the tests are completely brutal, then they're less likely to join on a whim if they're like, well, I've got nothing else to do, let's try this, right? So
you either die here or you die in the tower, pretty much.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of completely brutal, hey, you remember that battle royale test that they did? Well, they ran it again for another group of people, but the test runner was kind of a little lazy and was like, you know what? We'll just have one team win because I don't want to run 2 tests.
Well, he ran tests 1 and 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
And
which was
unfortunately,
find a group of 3 as a team and live and don't be killed.
Yes. And so this group of 3 that formed actually murdered everybody else in the test, like the whole other group in the test.
Goddamn.
Squad won very fast.
In less than 30 minutes, they killed everybody.
Jesus.
So it's like, oops.
Whatever his name is, blonde dude with the Pikachu cheeks.
Oh God,
Lee Row.
He was very robot-y.
He's sitting there and he's like, what the? They killed everyone? Okay, I have an idea. Listen, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take everyone from this that has just finished the door test, and we're going to take this random group here. And Monday's is spoiling stuff in the chat.
Don't
stop it. We're gonna take this group from Super Squad, and we're going to take everybody from the red door. We're gonna stick them in the room. Oh, you're right. No. They don't say it. They mention it, but they don't say it specifically. They ask if there's irregulars. He didn't check the entrance, and they ask if there's irregulars, but we don't know confirmed.
Yeah. So in the other group, he didn't bother to check. The other guy doing the test didn't bother to check if there was any irregulars or princesses in the testing.
And princesses aren't allowed to climb the tower.
They're banned from entering the testing grounds. They're allowed to climb the tower.
Sorry, they're banned from entering.
They're allowed in the tower, but they're banned from the testing grounds, probably because they'd kill most other people.
And then irregulars are people from outside, and they're also not supposed to be allowed.
Irregulars are from outside. Irregulars enter the tower without being chosen by the tower keeper.
Mm-hmm. But so they basically decide, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to have an additional test. You can participation is voluntary, but if you pass the test, then you don't have to take any more tests and you're clear to climb the tower.
Yep.
And the test is, it's King of the Hill. There's a chair in the middle of the room. There's a crown. You sit on the chair, you have the crown, you win. Somebody takes it from you, you lose. 5-minute timer, 5 teams can fight at a time. Go. Every irregular that's entered the tower has become a ranker and destroyed the balance of the tower. Yeah, irregulars are
extremely strong. As the ranker, Lee Row, who's one of the test guys, a ranker means that they've climbed the tower all the way and reached the top. He mentions when he pushes back everybody else and it doesn't push back Bam, it cuts to like an inner monologue, which we can tell because the screen goes darker shade, which is cool. It's a nice little way to tell. It mentions the fact that a monster has entered the tower, so he's probably well aware that Bam is an irregular.
Yeah, Bam's just an irregular, but has no idea what it means, right?
Yes, because he's literally from outside the tower,
he's an irregular.
Well, no, everybody is from inside the tower still. Normally, even the other irregulars, Bam is literally from outside of the world. He's
from like some underground bunker, mole people, Gurren Lagann type shit.
I know, it's a fucking isekai, isn't it?
He's from like underneath the tower itself. It's weird.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. I actually really, really, really like this show, and it hurt me to not go read the webtoon. Because I kind of really want to go read it. But I know this was definitely a show that I would recommend after watching the first couple episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it too. I liked it. Man, do I want dubs though. I know I'm gonna get flamed. Just how I prefer to watch shit. And like I just really cannot.
They will probably dub us at some point.
At some point.
It's just
I'm also
not
hoping
yet. This is a brand new show for anybody wondering that's just starting this season. So
yeah, this show will 100% be dubbed. It's being put out by Crunchyroll. I guarantee you they're gonna dub it.
Yes.
And sure, you're not a fan of the art style. Yeah, the art style
Yeah,
is
the art style is very different from your standard anime. It is very loose, very sketchy.
I like it.
Not in
it's
like
it's refreshing.
It's a
sketchy.
I was just gonna say it's a breath of fresh air because we see so many shows that have the same style. That's why I love BNA so much as well, is because Trigger and their animations, they always seem very fluid. They seem very soft.
Yes. Fluid is a good word for them.
Yeah, I'm working on my vocabulary. That Trigger, like, they do a lot of smear panels. They do a lot of stretch panels, and it shows, and it looks closer to a Saturday morning cartoon than it does to, say, an anime. And obviously, there's some shows that you want to do that. There's some shows that you don't want to do that. But Trigger shows, it definitely works well. If you look at the fight scenes from BNA, it's kind of crazy how well they work out with the squash and stretch that they do. This show has almost no squash and stretch, but they do some very good characterization with Rock and other stuff.
Yes, yeah, the whole like chibi kind of look to his head at times and stuff. Yeah,
and they only do it to him, which is so good. It's so good that they only do it to him because it makes his character that much better. I thought I was gonna hate him after the first episode if he didn't change it all, and they didn't change him. They just adjusted his scenario and made him a better character. So I'm really happy with the way that they're working with characters. I like how they're doing stuff. I like that this kid just randomly has a sword that's worth more than anybody else in that entire room and has no idea.
Yeah, like it's Bam is a good character for
he is the perfect
people
character
to watch because he doesn't know anything. Like he
doesn't know where
nothing about
is, what the challenges are. He doesn't know what the princesses are. He doesn't know what irregulars are. Like, we are just as lost as him.
Yeah, all we know is that there was a blonde girl named Rachel who like unburied him from where he was kept and like basically
Rahel
brought him
she taught him how to like read and write and about stuff, and it looks like at some point probably got him clothes because he was like in a sheet basically that he stuck his head through.
Yeah, he was like, which I'm sure we're going to get backstory on how he ended up there, what's happening with him. Guaranteed he was sealed away because he was too powerful or some shit and she accidentally opened it up. But like she basically freed him from this like prison essentially and found him, and he was like, I don't know who I am or what I'm doing. I just know the English language apparently. So and she's like, okay, here's how you read and write and live. And she basically nurtured him to be a person because for all intents and purposes, he wasn't. He was
he was kind of a feral kid, like
he literally was a feral kid.
Like in this like cave area that he was trying to break through the ceiling, and above that was where Rachel was, and we don't even know where she was technically, because when they get there, like he speaks a completely different language than the other characters, except for the Tower Keeper, who he can converse with. That should be noted.
He probably can speak with anybody. Also, the first thing we saw was Rachel ascending the tower. Essentially, she
left him at the very beginning to go to the tower.
Right. So now he's climbing the tower just because he wants to find Rachel. That's the only.
He wants basically his entire world as a human being is her. She was the person who taught him to live, taught him how to read, write, take care of himself, basically freed him from this underground prison that he was in. And obviously we don't have all the context for this, but this is how it appears. And we're looking at it and he's just like, I don't know anything else. I want her back.
Yeah, that's all he cares about. That's literally it. So.
Which is great. Like that's a very you have introduced this character who knows literally nothing about the world, so you can tell the entire story of the world through them. They have the most simple goal in mind, so it's easy to get behind them, and they're naive as fuck, so you can abuse them and have an interesting world.
Yep.
Like,
okay.
They have all of the ingredients for a really, really good show.
Sure.
Because like, I'm really sold on this show. I was really happy.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited that this might be a really decent thing.
Yeah, this and BNA, I'm looking forward to getting a dub, and then I will actually watch those because
we've had two really good shows back to back,
which is nice.
It is
And
really
I
nice.
know Copper's gonna intentionally fuck that
No,
up.
we're not. No,
No,
listen,
no, no,
listen.
no,
Dale,
no.
I'm also going to hate this show,
So
and that's fine.
I put a vote to the community
Mm-hmm.
about what they would like to see.
Oh, okay. This is half
And
truth.
so
Half truth.
There were two different choices.
This whole. Are you talking about how like I went on a rant about how annoying the blonde kid from Demon Slayer was, or is this something different?
That might have
No,
something
but
to do with
that's
it.
probably why the community chose what they did.
Is that
Okay,
what started
so-
this whole thing? Yeah. Uh-huh.
I want to
So
point out.
there is another option. Like it's not like it's the only thing.
Can I
Uh-huh.
explain what? Can I explain what the other option is? I want to explain what the other option is.
I put out 2 shows to the community. One being we can watch Black Clover because people have been asking about Black Clover. And then there was a thing that brought up that Dale hates a certain character from another show because he's super annoying. And Asta is way more annoying. So people were like, hey.
Let's
and then-
torture Dale with obnoxious ass screaming kids.
Well, I want to point out that from the moment Black Clover aired, like I had a friend who watched it from when it aired because he heard it was going to be really good. He just told me like straight up, he doesn't even watch anime. He like looked at me, he's like, "Hey, listen, Nate, this show is really good, but you're gonna fucking hate it."
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
"Why?"
yeah.
And he's like, "Asta just yells all the time." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll hate it," because people who know me know I haven't even watched Naruto because I can't get through the first episode because his voice is annoying to me.
yeah.
That's not saying that it's a bad show. I just can't deal with it. And before somebody says watch it subbed, watch it dubbed, watch it blah blah blah, I have tried everything. I really, really gave it the good old college try.
Mm.
But I know Asta is going to be an issue for me, and
Yes,
it's
Asta
gonna
is a
it.
issue for a lot of people.
Is
And then the
that the
other
main?
show,
Is that the main character from?
he's the main character. He's
He's
as
the main
well.
character.
Then the other show I put out there was another new show from this season that
Can
looks
I talk about it?
interesting. That Comfy's chomping at the bit to talk about. It's a very strange premise as well,
Uh huh.
and it's called Gleifner. And I'll let
All
Comfy
right.
cover this because he's super.
Gleifner, huh?
This is called
Mm.
Gleipnir. All right.
Gleipnir.
So, yeah.
I will.
What does I'm going to read the synopsis.
To
What does
Google.
one consider to be a monster? A
I'm
horrible
scared.
blood-sucking vampire? Frankenstein's creation? Shuichi Kagaya has a secret. Other than having great grades and being skilled at sports, he isn't what one would call him normal. In fact, Shuichi cannot even be considered human. One fateful morning, he woke up as a monster with brute strength, an abnormally strong sense of smell, big fluffy claws, and the depression and self-hate that come after losing one's humanity.
Is
His
this
life was suddenly flipped upside down. Claire Aoki, the girl he decided to save, now holds his secret over his head. Claire is a sadistic and utterly twisted girl with no sense of empathy towards the lives of others. Before meeting Shuichi, she was in search of monsters, hoping to find her monster sister. Despite becoming a monster, Shuichi naively continues to hold on to his human morals. Now, it doesn't tell you what kind of monster he is. Would anyone like to guess?
I think I've
Yeah,
already.
that's-
I googled it, and I'm looking at images.
Oh no, you Googled it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it's
So for the people watching at home, he turns into a mascot.
yes.
Like a teddy bear mascot,
Yeah.
but kind of like
All right.
post-apocalyptic teddy bear mascot. And the girl who holds it over his head climbs inside of him and controls him.
that's fucked up, and I'm in.
It's a bizarre concept, and
It's weird as shit. I heard about it and I was immediately like, we are going to watch this show at some point or another. Now, the community voted that we should watch Black Clover first. So we will.
God damn it.
But
Fine. All right.
We're going to watch
Okay,
Gleipnir
whatever.
eventually. Like, holy crap. She also does it half naked. I was told she was full naked.
the first time she goes into him, there's no real better way of putting that. She is wearing a t-shirt and panties at the time because she was in the middle of changing, and when they got attacked at her apartment. So that's just kind of what she was wearing at the time. But yeah, so that's what she's wearing the first time it occurs.
Yeah, it's a weird ass like concept, and that's why I love it.
There's some choice language. She talks like when she goes into his monster form the first time. She talks like she's trying to convince him to let her into him. Like you would hear a skeezy guy talk to a girl trying to convince them about sex.
Oh no! Are
like
you
it? I am serious. It is fucked.
Oh god.
So that's the thing to look forward to.
Yeah, that'll happen eventually.
Yay! What is this show on?
It's not on Crunchyroll.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
All right. Let's to Google.
Yeah, it is on Crunchyroll. It is
on Crunchyroll. Okay.
I think it's on Crunchyroll.
Right.
Maybe not. It might not be actually, because considering what's going on with it. But it is.
It sounds like a fucked up, not terrible. It sounds like a fucked up mind trip. Okay.
It's very much a mind.
Like some of the art makes me think of Five Nights at Freddy's, which I've never played, but I've seen enough of it to kind of be like, that's kind of how he looks. He looks like one of those creepy fucking mascots. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, we'll watch the first 3 episodes of Black Clover next week and talk about how we all felt about that, and then Leipner for the next episode. We actually have a couple weeks plotted out then. Okay, that's not something we do every time.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing for us to have plotted and ready to go.
Yeah.
But we are at the start of a new thing, so that happens as well.
Okay.
So, what have you been up to this week, Darado?
Doing some ESO stuff. I got affiliate on Twitch last week. We talked about it. Got all that set up. I've been getting emotes and stuff uploaded and all kinds of fun stuff. Learning the new bots and all that fun stuff. But I don't know. It's been that. I don't know if you saw the shit that I did make, but yeah, been doing that. I actually liked the process of creating all that. Like I basically just made that stack of poker chips you saw.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. It turned out pretty good, I think, for what I expected it to, at least. But yeah, we did that. We've been doing ESO, working on just getting through. I did finish the main Elsewhere DLC, so I'm just kind of like making sure to log in every day and do at least a couple dailies and whatnot.
Get those done, yeah.
There's going to be that new expansion in June. You say it was the 2nd, June 2nd?
It is, I believe, the 2nd. It's coming out now. Thanks to the whole. It has to. It got pushed back by a week because of the whole everybody's working from home thing, and they came out straight and said, it's because of difficulties from working from home. Things are slower, which makes sense, especially when you're trying to put out a game.
Right.
Not everybody's going to have everything at home they kind of need to do that with. So it got pushed back only by a week, which, isn't
not
awful. Especially since the other delays we've been seeing in the gaming industry, due to everything going on, have been
like indefinite because we just don't know.
Way bigger. Well, we saw some that are like a few months, and then we've got, Last of Us 2, which basically is indefinite for probably a number of reasons.
Right.
And, stuff like that. So it's It's okay to be back by a week. It's not going to be a big deal. It just gives more people more time to kind of get prepped for it too, because it is an MMO. And they were trying to drive more people into the game recently as well, with like having stuff on sale and things like that. So
all the all the extra experience.
yes.
But yeah, like I'm just gonna be focusing on more ESO.
Yeah,
here.
I don't blame you there. I mean, other than ESO's new thing coming out,
I don't really.
I mean, we talked about it last time. There's not a ton coming out. The only other big thing coming out soon, since Final Fantasy VII is now out, is Minecraft Dungeons is coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That we're still over a month out from that. I think it was the March 26th. I think that'll be a game that I should be able to play with Kaylee, and that'll be fun.
It is supposed to be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, May 26th is when it comes out. Gonna be interesting because May is also, I believe, when Phantasy Star Online is coming to PC for North America.
So I don't know if I care.
You might not, but
I don't
other
know.
people will for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it kind of plays like. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot because it's going to be free to play, right?
What are we talking about?
Phantasy Star, I think it's going to be. It's going to be out on Xbox very shortly.
It already is out on Xbox, I thought.
No, not the beta, the full release.
I thought the full release came out on Xbox.
No, it's just been the beta for now. So the whole thing is coming out on Xbox, and then they're putting out the it might have launched on Xbox by now, and they're putting out the whole like beta for PC, which I know a few people are waiting for, rather than just starting on Xbox and shifting over, because they're like, well, why?
Yeah.
Why
There's
start
some
here
people
when
that
I'm gonna
are
play here?
I'll definitely try it when I have the
More
ability
frames.
to try it out.
There's like various differences that make people want to play on PC versus the Xbox.
Very anime.
It is extremely anime, to the point where there is an item in game to make your boobs bigger.
Nice.
Because they didn't have it like in the original character customization. So rather than updating that, because that wouldn't affect people who'd already made a character. What they did is they put an item in the game so you could just kind of get that, because it was a fan request, a very, very common and popular fan request.
My boobs are not big enough.
Yeah. I mean, when we were going to play
my breasticles aren't the besticles.
And I found a game you're going to want to play, Comfy. Yeah, for your next little community night thing. But it only plays 4 people, though. So you can only do probably a couple of rounds of it. It's called Ultimate Waifu. It is a card game on Tabletop Simulator.
Okay.
And what you're doing is, it's kind of like Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity. So there's 3 decks, and you're drawing cards from each. And you're trying to take 3 cards during a round and form the best waifu.
Oh, and then, you know what? I think I've seen this before.
And then the person whose turn it is, picks from among the options that are presented to them. And straight up, some of the things are like pink hair. Big anime titties is literally a card in the game.
Is thick anime thighs a card in the game?
I don't think it is, but you can probably add cards to it, because there's like a limited number of cards. You can probably just add a bunch of stuff to it, which so yeah, it was a thing. We were gonna play it, but it this past Friday with Buds, and we were doing board games, but we had actually 5 people, and since it's a 4-player game, we went over to another game that I know Addison loved because of its art style.
Yep. All of the cards had big anime titties.
It's a Agami Battles, I think, is the new name, because it used to be Kanzumi Goddess, and then they put out a new version of the game, changed the name up. It's a deck builder where everybody takes the role of a god. Most of them are well-endowed anime women, but not all of them are well-endowed. There's some lollies in there, like the one Dale was playing.
Perfect.
And then all of the cards that you're drafting into your deck to make your deck better when you're playing through are all like big titty anime girls and various like things they're doing. So it's a very good card game, but the art style of it has turned off more than a few people I know who are board gamers. They're like, I love the game, but I hate the art kind of thing.
Yeah.
What is it? Bad? Is it bad art?
No, the art's really well done. Like really, really well done. I actually have a couple pieces of it as my desktop backgrounds. That's how well done some of these art pieces are.
Okay, so it's just because they're lewd. Got it.
It's just because they have big boobs and there's lots of cleavage and stuff like that, and that's uncomfortable for some people, which is fine. You know, boobs out of context, as Dale says, is something he doesn't enjoy. So, you know, it's a thing. But it was a fun time, and then when Dale signed off, we actually ended up playing Smash Up, which is another fun little card game.
Yeah,
and, the best part of it though was Dale cost himself the game by not killing me. Oddly enough, he chose to leave me alive and kill French instead.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
I pulled this. I pulled some bullshit out of my ass, and I literally killed 2 people in one turn, and I didn't pick Copper because I'm a dumbass.
He's like, oh, he's not a threat. He has the least amount of life. And then on my turn, I killed him. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right with these kinds of games. All right, but yeah, I ended up not being there. I was playing D&D with some friends, and it was weird.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
That's usually how D&D goes.
Well, we started. We were doing. I was taking a module and modifying it, and it was in a jungle, and the very first thing that one of them said was, "Where are the jungle boys?"
Oh no!
I need a jungle boy. And they were able to convince a goblin to be their jungle boy, and man, it was weird.
Huh? Interesting.
I feel the problem here may be your friends.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that Paul was able to get there for that game and request a jungle boy.
Paul was not there for that game. Paul doesn't know these people.
I just want to put that on record that I'm pretty sure that was Paul. He works for a rare drop, requesting a jungle boy.
I don't even think Paul's in chat anymore.
He might not
defend
be.
himself.
That's the best part.
He was here for Tower of God.
Yeah, he apparently really loves Tower of God. I'm looking forward to the next episode of that quite a bit.
I am too. I'm really excited because what we saw some blonde girl that might be Rachel.
Yes, might be Rachel, might not be. We don't know. That's like the one little tidbit for the next
That's the biggest
episode.
cliffhanger we've gotten so far, which was just them showing a girl in a hood with blonde hair and him going, Rahel. Because man, they don't say the names. Oh my god, I did it. I spent the last 15 minutes trying to get up that ledge.
Yeah, I saw.
This is why Trials is entertaining to watch, is because I'm a potato.
So we've got 3 days. The next episode is that though, like.
Oh, it's so rough.
It comes out.
You know what? I have actually been trying to catch up on my anime. I've caught up on Food Wars.
We've got time. I gotta catch up with that one.
It is okay. This season is not going at the speed of slow right now, and I'm very happy.
Oh, good.
So the first episode, they started out. They were like, "Hey, listen, here's your summer break thing, and you need to open up a shop and make this much money." Kind of like, I don't remember what it was originally, but there was like a school festival, and it took up like an entire arc, and they had to make a certain amount of money.
What are you talking about?
Food Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So that was like an entire arc. They wrapped this up in one episode.
Okay, good.
And then they lead off telling you what the next storyline is going to be. And then the next episode, they're like, all right, we need to have a competition to see who can get into the competition. And they wrap it up. They wrap up like 20 different meals in 10 minutes. Like, it was impressive how fast they did it. So I'm
nice.
And then they were able to expand on the story in the rest of that episode, which was cool, and it made me very happy. The source material for this season was absolutely terrible. I can see why, because I see the threads that they're going for with it and like what the side threads are. Because the last one was the fight for the school. The one before that was another one, and it's like all these different like. It's building up, and the last season was one of those like really big. It's like, wow, we control the whole school. Now what do we do? What's our new enemy? And I can tell what they're doing, and it's kind of weird, but I'm still about it. It's Food Wars. It's a fun show.
Yeah, I've been catching up on a few things and trying out a few different
Shows.
animes I haven't seen. They're like new ones and older ones, stuff like that. Which is, we got time. Like, there's not a lot of shows being made right now for like TV and stuff like that, because a lot of stuff I would normally watch is on streaming stuff, and most of that got delayed. So
yeah, Witcher got delayed.
Yep.
I went back and I gave season 3 of My Hero another shot. I watched the beach episode a long time ago, and I was disappointed because I had to go from from the 2 seasons of dub back to the subtitles, and I watched the first episode. I was like, eh. So I went back, I think last week, and I watched the first 2 of My Hero in dub, and I'm still out.
I started catching back up on My Hero season 4 last night.
My Hero is actually one of the ones I just finished catching back all the way back up on, and
Which show?
Going through the school festival arc a little bit they had there, like the mini arc, and then getting into the start of I guess would be the next arc they're doing story wise. So
I've been trying to catch up on it. I'm not very far, but I'm working on it.
I haven't
the last
actually
episode I watched where the focus is actually not on the kids at all. It's actually on Endeavor. Was really, really good.
Endeavor is like one of the best characters. Like, just he's an asshole, and I hate him, but he's one of the best characters.
He's an asshole, and a self-serving asshole in a lot of ways, but
and someone who puts his own well-being and livelihood and his legacy above that of the well-being of his children and family.
Yes, but not above the well-being of the public, which is an interesting like subversion of your standard type of thing. Because
so somebody pointed this out to me, and it's one of the things that makes My Hero such a great show is like all of the villain heroes that you see you're like, that's a bad person. It's like, they're still heroes.
Yeah.
They are still working their asses off. Like in the original school tournament arc, there was the dude who had the power to make anybody listen to what he said unequivocally. And they just did it. And it didn't matter what he said. And they would listen to exactly what he said. And he was able to make it really far through the tournament because he just told his opponents walk off the stage.
Yeah, he made them quit.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, that's such a cool power. You would be such a great villain. And he's just like, I don't want to be a villain. I want to be a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think he wants to be the very best.
That no one ever was.
Yeah, like he gets a lot of shit too, because it's like, well, his ability is basically make people do what he wants them to do, and he didn't get placed in Class A with our main characters because
he couldn't fight in the combat test.
The class for Task A was a combat test, fighting against like giant robots, and he isn't a combat power. He can stop any confrontation with any villain as long as they can hear him and have a mind to obey.
What was it if you answer a question?
If you answered a question, so you'd have to be able to speak and understand.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he would be the ultimate detective.
It's so easy to bait somebody to do that if they don't know what your power is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even Deku, who knew his power, was baited into it.
Yeah, all you have to do is, when you come across a villain, is go, who are you? Right? And pretty much every villain we've come across is going to go, I am blah, 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 and then be completely under his power, right?
Right.
The only thing is that if he runs up against something that's mindless, say a giant robot, or say a Namu.
I was going to say Namu.
He's not going to be able to stop them because they're mindless creatures. You remember those
big brain birds?
The big what?
Remember the big black purple looking guys who have like a exposed brain? and like a beak.
Oh, is that what
Yeah,
those
they're
are called?
Those,
Okay.
yeah, they're called Namus. They're mindless.
Got
yeah,
it.
they are just an amalgamation of a bunch of different quirks. So
So yeah,
Gotcha.
they're a bunch of quirks shoved into a human, and it drives them kind of insane and puts them under control of people. It's the whole thing.
Gotcha.
But they can comprehend like instructions, but they can't talk.
respond. Yeah,
They can't respond. So, or won't respond as well to someone who isn't their original controller. So
Got it. But he could just mind control the controller, and then he has his own pet Namu.
yes, but
By
normally
proxy.
the Namus are
Long
sent
range.
out on their own, right? Kind of thing.
I was just
yeah, kind of like
trying
a
to help.
drone strike. Like, yeah, if you control the guy
Now-
controlling the drone,
Now,
You're
All for
fine.
One would probably want this guy's power ASAP if he could get his hands on him.
yeah, if he wasn't dead.
So, well, All for One's not. He's in jail.
Spoilers! I'm not gonna watch the show.
It's not a spoiler.
What do you mean?
It's from like a way earlier season. It's not a spoiler that he's in jail.
But like,
Yeah, that's from United States of Smash.
it's one that I haven't seen. I'm not gonna watch
Well,
the
yeah,
show
but you're
anymore. I know.
one, you're
I
not
was
going to watch the
kidding. I
show,
was
and two, you're
kidding.
like 2 or 3
Listen.
seasons behind. Like, it's not a big deal.
Listen, if you were mad at us for spoiling something that's come out over a year ago,
Uh-huh.
that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spoiler tag has dropped off that heavily.
We've also
so
been very
can
good
we-
about not spoiling things.
So can we talk
Like-
about how Kylo Ren kills Han Solo then? Is that okay to talk about?
Actually, yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally fine.
That's,
Okay.
that's totally fine.
All right, great. Wonderful.
Was that your point? Was that it?
I don't
Was,
know.
was that a gotcha moment?
I didn't have a fucking
I know
point.
people were trying to spoil that when it first came out.
I was just being difficult. What do you mean? All right.
What the ban Dale and every chat we know now.
Yeah, because he's spoiling Star Wars.
I don't care.
I mean, I could spoil. Speaking of Star Wars, actually, the new Clone Wars. Like, I know we touched on it.
Oh, it was
I
good.
heard it's supposed to be good, but
This episode was great.
I haven't watched
actually.
like any of Clone Wars because the animation style is so dated now.
You should
Difficult for me
watch
to sit.
specifically just the new season. They revamp the animation style a lot and make it.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like,
Make it look. It looks.
I'm like,
It
I'm
looks
gonna
like
be
they basically took just
context
episode
and, like-
3's character design and then morphed it into their animation style, kind of.
plus there's the whole thing that I don't give a flying fuck about Anakin or Obi-Wan. I hate both of them.
Don't worry,
Both
this is not
shitty.
about them at all.
No.
They're both shitty characters. So
Well,
No,
this
this is-
episode, the last episode,
I mean, that's the other thing that stopped me
uh,
from going through the Clone Wars show is the fact that a lot of it, the earlier stuff, focuses on them. So I'm like,
No, this the last 4 episodes are 100% Ahsoka and the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with it's gonna be hot. You get the last glimpse of Anakin and Obi-Wan in Clone Wars in this episode. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Anakin
clear
and
because
his worst friend ever. Yes.
because in Rebels, Ahsoka says last time I saw him, he was rushing off to save the Chancellor, and we see that scene happen.
Yes. They're literally
So-
about to go into the space battle that you see in the beginning of episode 3.
Yeah. Which is
That's like-
awesome.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see them tie that all back together the way that they did. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Anakin or Obi-Wan again, but I'm
No.
very excited for where the story's going because
I think we'll see some we'll see some
You're gonna see a lot of Ahsoka because
it
she's
is
and
very.
this is a
This
spoiler
Ahsoka.
alert because it's this has been news that's been out there for a bit, but she's gonna be showing up in.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
So
excited.
I think they want to fill out her backstory of what's
Well,
She's
they're
such a
going on, right?
she's
So,
They're
yeah.
really not even filling out her backstory anymore. They're just telling the story of the Siege of Mandalore. Like that's
yeah,
it's
they
very much
want to.
not that much
that's-
of an Ahsoka story. That's the best part.
No,
It's
but it is a very important thing for the Mandalorian. So
Mhm.
I, like for anybody who wants the context of it,
And that's
connection.
also going to
get
give
it.
her a lot of really good, like, what if Bo-Katan shows up in Mandalorian, you know? Or is she dead?
I feel like I feel like she's
some people
I
are
feel
going to
like
be
she's
dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, some people are definitely going to be dead. I just don't. Oh no, yeah, Bo-Katan's dead.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
how else would dude have the thing at the end of the
Dark
Mandalorian?
saber. Yeah.
I mean,
It could have been
Maul,
stolen.
Maul has
like,
the dark
nope.
saber right now.
But like
Mandalorian, the
at the end, what's
And
his
Maul
name?
lives.
the Moff there has the
Moff Gideon. Yeah, he has the dark saber at the
Yeah.
end, and I don't
Yeah.
think that Bo-Katan would let it out of her. She'd have to be dead.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
Maul
not a-
already has it without Bo-Katan being dead, and Maul lives at the end of this.
Yeah,
so-
but he didn't get it.
He
He had it before.
took it from someone. He took it from the leader of the was it the Death Watch guy?
Yes, he took
Yeah.
it from the Death Watch guy, and then he had it,
he
and he
loses
escapes Mandalore with it, and he has it in his like cave on what's that planet?
Dathomir?
Is it Dathomir? Yeah, he has it on Dathomir with him, and then fucking oh god, what's his name? I can't think of it. Oh god, it's killing me. The young Jedi from Rebels, he takes
Ezra?
it. Ezra, yeah, Jesus, why couldn't I think of Ezra? Ezra takes it and gives it to Sabine. Sabine gives it to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That's how Bo-Katan gets it. There we go.
yes.
I was trying to figure out where it's coming from after Clone Wars, like how it's getting there,
Yep.
because we know
Yeah.
Maul survives this.
Yeah.
We know Maul and the Black Sun survive this, so or whatever his criminal organization is called.
Yep.
But I'm
Do we
very
know
excited to
his-
see where this goes.
Do we know his like crime syndicate survives?
Yeah, his crime syndicate survives because they're in Solo.
Is
Yep.
this before or after that? I guess it would be after this.
Solo's after
yep,
this.
Yep. Of
Yeah,
course.
Solo is
yeah.
definitely after this.
Yeah.
Solo takes place shortly before the original trilogy.
Right.
And yeah, we know that. Oh, Crimson Dawn. That's it, right? Is that it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It
I
doesn't-
forget what his thing is called, but
Something
yeah,
like that.
he's still alive, so his organization is still around.
His organization makes it through Solo.
Yeah.
And so does he. So it'll be really interesting to see. I'm excited.
Yeah. No.
Well,
me too.
ever since Episode 9 happened, Star Wars has been good. So
I'm
talking about the series, not
You
the
could
movies.
honestly skip episodes 5 through 8, Copper. It was pointless and boring.
Oh, the series, yeah.
Of season, the newest season of Clone Wars. All those episodes.
Realistically,
it's
like
terrible.
episodes
It's not
5 through 8,
needed.
it's like Ahsoka's alive. Ahsoka has new friends. Ahsoka's new friends are doing some questionable shit. They all come out okay, but they were being watched by who? Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, and that's
That's literally it. And that
It's-
spoils nothing if you want to go watch the episode.
it's filler. It's a filler. It was a bunch of filler shit.
It is filler.
It
really
wasn't good.
Uh,
It was
I
not
wouldn't say
good.
it wasn't good, but it was very kids show filler.
I
so.
did not. And yeah, I thought it was whatever.
Filler is, filler. That's
Filler is filler, no matter how
Yeah.
small.
Yep. But after watching the newest episode, I am like, fuck yeah, dude. That was great. I need more of that.
Oh yeah, the newest episode. Like
It-
I read about it online and then went to go watch it, and I was
Yeah.
very happy.
Yeah, it was very good.
Like I had to catch up like 5 episodes because I didn't watch. I watched the first filler episode with Ahsoka and then was like, you know what? I don't care about the rest.
Yeah. It was
So I
bad.
just waited for it all to be out. Now I'll be watching them week to week.
Yep.
And I'm also watching Food Wars week to week, and I need to find more shows to watch week to week because I'm bored.
Mhm. But yeah, I expect we're supposed to be seeing like Order 66 be executed in the last season, actually.
Oh, it's gonna happen during the siege. I'm pretty sure.
Right. It could be.
Well, what I'm waiting for is I really want to see the scene where Rex gets Order 66 because we know that he as an individual doesn't go through with it.
Right. Like he ends up doing something with something about a microchip. I don't know.
There's microchips in their heads. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have chips in their head. That's how they get controlled to do.
What?
See, they
66
discovered
and
discovered
other
that
orders.
in a later season of the Clone Wars. They discover it.
Yeah. And what's funny is that's actually a retcon as well, because it used to not be that, but then they added in the fact that it was chips.
Yeah.
Which is because originally they were just supposed to be 100% loyal to the Chancellor,
Yes.
but they retconned it because they didn't want kids to be sad that all of their clones were bad guys the entire time.
It also makes a little more
It does make a little more sense.
that there's a technological reason that these people who are thinking individuals would do something like murder people that they're close to.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
What's funny though is like watching through the entire series of like Clone Wars, you see that the clones really weren't individuals that much because they were trained to not be, but literally everyone around them is like, you're individuals, right? Like, you can do whatever. The first, one of the first episodes is like, we're clones, sir, we're expendable. And it's like, Plo Koon's like, not to me. And it's like, okay. That's
they
like
get
one
encouraged, like the Jedi
quotes.
encourage them to like be themselves.
To be themselves. To be individuals, which is not what they were
and that's like
taught and trained to be and indoctrinated with. Like
that's why Rex built like relationships with all of them. I still love there was from the book version of episode 3 when Cody got the order to shoot Obi-Wan. In his head, he said the wording in the book says the little bit of Jango Fett that was still in there said, "Why couldn't you give me the order before I gave him his lightsaber back?"
Yeah.
Like he's just like sitting there like, God damn it. Why couldn't you just tell me to do this before I gave him his weapon? And apparently like he still struggled with that thought. And I love that mentality of it. Also, welcome to the Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I like Star Wars. I could talk about a lot of Star Wars.
Welcome to Tower of Star Wars.
I like Star Wars more than anime, but here we are. We don't do a Star Wars podcast.
Because there's
apparently
not enough
we do.
Star Wars. There's not really enough Star Wars content to do a Star Wars podcast on. Like,
but what
that
if?
hasn't been
But
covered
what
in depth
if
elsewhere.
we maybe started drinking bourbon and talked about Star Wars?
I feel there's other people who do that.
I know. I was kidding. That was reference to them. Anywho, so yeah,
we gotta have something that's alliteration. What's a good alcohol that starts with S?
Sake.
All right, here's our new podcast. It's Sake Wars. We drink different types of sake and talk about Star Wars and rate the sake.
Sure. But
Listen, it's alcoholic.
It's gonna be. I can't wait to come back next week and talk about Black Clover. Where Dale's like, "What the fuck did you make me watch?"
Yep.
And that's gonna be two weeks running actually, because oh boy, wait until episode 2 of Gleisner.
Listen,
it's that one conversation is just so over the top, like, and because I've watched the first 2 episodes of the show, by far the female character, the one who's kind of crazy, is my favorite character in this show.
Yeah.
Is she hot?
I wouldn't care if she's hot or not. It's she's blonde and I don't like blondes. It's because she's
saying something there.
Yeah,
we don't
dye
like
her hair
blondes.
pink again, bitch.
I told you if you buy me hair dye, I'll dye my hair. I told you. That's literally the line.
It's because she's crazy. She knows she's crazy, and she's perfectly okay with it.
I might end up watching Gleipnir this week as well, just for memes, because I'm very interested in it.
I know some people are like turned off by the show, but I like it quite a bit so far. So if it keeps the pacing and the tone it's got after the first 2 episodes, I'm definitely carrying forward with it. And I'm going to be sad I can't just sit down and binge it, because I've been looking for shit to
not
binge.
Getting bored with it? I think you said you will be getting bored with it.
No, I won't get. I'm going to be happy with it. It's I've been looking for shit to binge because we've got all time in the world.
Ooh, you know what we could talk about? That there's actually anime news about this recently. I don't know if it was this week or last week or whatever. Speaking of bingeable shows, Bleach is actually getting an ending.
Say what?
Yeah,
that's actually more surprising. They're announcing that, considering other shows are getting like put on hold and shit too.
Long story short, Bleach, one of the most popular shows of all time, one of the original big 3 of anime being One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, basically cut off extremely abruptly, didn't get the ending that the writer or anybody wanted it to have, and is well known as one of the worst endings in anime just because it's a cliffhanger. It's like a 400 episode cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Got it.
But they actually, I heard this. They're planning. The manga ended terribly too. The manga had the same issue, but they're going back and giving it an actual ending.
Did the writer pass? Because I know that's been an issue in some books and shows and stuff like that. The main writer passes. Like, I can for example, The Wheel of Time, right? Huge fantasy novel series spanning decades, and then the writer unfortunately passed away before he was able to finish the book, and so a second writer had to come in to finish the last I think it's 3 novels of the series and round everything out. And so people were kind of iffish on the end of it because somebody else had to come and finish it. I think he did a good job personally, but I like him as a writer anyway. So
original Bleach ran from 2004 to 2012, ending with episode 366 of season 16. There is a new season confirmed for 2021 that will adapt the 1,000-year Blood War story arc from the manga. The number of episodes has not been announced. The 1,000-year Blood War arc is hundreds of chapters in the manga, so 2021 is likely to run for a long time.
So what you're saying is we need to sit down as a group in a community and start watching Bleach.
No.
They're also going to do an OVA this year that's going to do a one-shot manga that they had, which is cool. But they announced new seasons of Bleach after 8 years, so that's pretty cool. Here, I'll be right back.
That's something.
It's surprising, because normally when a show is done, it's done. Like that's all you're getting. That's the whole thing. So for better or for worse. So if we're actually getting a new season, a new go at it, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's not really what I call standard, so I'm happy if they're doing that. It's a nice thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
we don't have a lot of news this week. I mean, there wasn't a lot of anime news. There wasn't a lot of gaming news yet. Destiny's still in a weird place. Final Fantasy VII is still great.
Bad? Like, everybody is on the negative side of Destiny right now.
Everybody's on the hate train. There was new leaks about regurgitated out this past week as well about the whole Destiny 3 leak from a while ago and blah blah blah, yada yada, that stuff. There's literally nothing new in it. I mean, Destiny's in an odd place. Some people are still enjoying playing because they don't play as much as everybody else. But then you have the hardcore players who are kind of burnt. Everybody's hoping stuff gets better. Animal Crossing is still fun. Final Fantasy VII was making people cry just because of the ending for it. It's super. Yeah, it's not crying a bad way. It's emotional. It's an emotional ride.
Got it.
So it's super good, everybody says. I mean, that's pretty much... Oh, there is one game thing that came out.
Oh.
And it's a sore subject for Dale. Fallout 76 had a big update.
And people are speaking very highly of it. And
they actually are. People are speaking quite highly of it. The comparison I've seen is that if you like the normal Fallout games, like 3 and 4 and that type of stuff, you'll like the new update. Especially if you like 4, because a lot of the character models appear to be super similar.
Yeah. Shocking.
But
like, why? Of course they are. Of course they are similar.
Yeah, it's Bethesda. I'm not terribly surprised. It kind of looks like they took them and just kind of moved them over, but I'm like, whatever. If it gives content, it gives content.
I will...
I know a lot of people have dipped back in, especially if they own the game already, because
I do own it.
The update's free, right? Like, if you have the game, you might as well just try it out, see if you like it. You might not. I know Professor Broman was not it for him. So it's not
Yeah.
what he was looking for. So dipped out pretty quick.
Honestly, I don't know if I would even be into it.
I don't know.
Because like one of the big
It's-
reasons I was really excited about Fallout 76 to begin with is playing it with Kaylee, and like
there's no cross.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no crossplay. So she doesn't PC game at all anymore. Like she just didn't like it. So it's back to I don't know.
So I think that's pretty much the only big thing that came out this week, aside from anybody who's in Magic the Gathering. We have the new set up on Arena now
Nerd.
for that, and which brought with it a host of changes to Arena itself, including new game modes and new ways to play draft, which is great. You can actually now draft against humans, which is before you're drafting versus bots and playing humans. Now you're drafting with humans and playing humans, and it makes a big difference for deck wise. Big news there is I kind of expect companions to get banned. Companions are a new card type. Kind of a new card type. They introduced into the game for standard and limited play, which basically takes the mechanic of having a from EDH, Elder Dragon Highlander, or Commander, for those who are newer to the game. It basically takes the Commander aspect and puts it in the standard, which is broken as shit. Because basically it's like, here's this card that starts outside of the game, and as long as you follow the deck building rules for this specific card, it'll start outside the game, and you can cast it for its casting cost at any time. So it's basically a card that can't be targeted by hand removal or stuff like that you always have access to, that you can just cast. And it basically means that at the start of a game, if you're playing with a companion and your opponent isn't, you have a 15% advantage over them just from the number of cards you have, because you have an extra card and you know what it is, you know what it does, and you can build around it. It's really, really broken. So I expect it to be getting kicked in the balls pretty quickly by...
That's rude.
Well, I mean, there's a streamer I watch who admittedly is a good player, built a deck using one of the companions. The deck only contains 1 and 2 drops, which are basically considered the weakest cards in the game.
Right.
And he went through the ladder, through Mythic, and took the #1 place on Arena.
Damn.
So became the top player for the whole thing, playing 1 and 2 drops, because that's how busted some of these cards are. So I don't expect him to stick around.
Gotcha.
But I think that's kind of it. I mean,
yeah.
We haven't really gotten a lot of game updates yet. Most of the stuff is pushed back. We're kind of waiting on things like Minecraft Dungeons. So
what are you going to be doing this week? Like, I'm going to be doing ESO.
Work.
Yeah.
I haven't played like anything over the last week. I've been doing stuff for a couple of clients, some big projects I can't talk about, that were basically in place and didn't get canceled by the whole shutdown thing.
Right.
I've had other contracts like jobs I knew were coming get canceled because of the whole thing as well, but these ones didn't, thankfully. One went out on Friday for review, so that'll get back. One's still kind of an ongoing thing that comes in kind of piecemeal. So aside from that, I've now got a stream package to finish up for another guy, and a couple logos to do this week, and then it's just the big project that just keeps stuff flowing in. So this week is going to be work a lot, try to go get the logos and the other thing done. That way, whenever that other stuff flows in, I have a lot more time to do it. So yay, work.
Yay, work.
The whole shutdown stuff like that doesn't, aside from canceling jobs, didn't affect me much because I don't really leave my house anyway, and I already worked at home. So
yeah, same.
Yeah,
same
I haven't.
For me, pretty much.
I haven't had anything change. I still have to go to work, and then I come home and don't do anything outside of work. So like, same old, same old.
Yeah, for a lot of nerds and gamers and people who are just not like socially go about people, a lot didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, obviously some things have But if
Well, like shopping has like the Walmart here, for example, now has like one door is locked, the other one has like fencing around it and a security guard, and only one person per family is allowed in, and there's like
yeah,
enforced distancing within like the line and stuff like that. So I mean, there's things like that. But
my mom went to Costco the other day and sent me a video of the line. It was, I'd say, probably a good quarter mile long. Obviously, that's exasperated because there's social distancing, so people are spreading out the lines a little bit extra. But man, it took her an hour to get inside the store.
Damn.
Like, and then when she did get in, like, we didn't get everything that we needed because they didn't have it all. And it's Costco. Like, that's the best possible chance of having what we need. So
yeah, I haven't seen
doing fine.
shortages around here, which is nice.
It's funny.
And a little unexpected since I do live, off the coast on an island. But people have been thankfully like realistic about things and just buying what they need type thing, which is nice. So people aren't really
I wish
hoarding.
the people that live near me were having common sense.
Well, the people who live near you are having protests.
Yeah. So for people who didn't catch it earlier, there were like 3 pictures on the front page of Reddit yesterday and the day before, and all over news sites and stuff, and it's people in my hometown protesting. And you probably saw the like there was a dude in like full hazmat suit, mask, and everything with a sign that says COVID-19 is a lie. What a jackass. A woman holding a sign in like a like American flag tank top that says social distancing equals communism. Because that also makes sense.
Oh, that's 100% true, of course. What do you mean?
I don't even know. I don't know how you can connect those in your head, honestly.
A hard time.
And then there's the one chick with the like give me liberty or give me death sign in front of Baskin Robbins. Which has been memed to hell. Like, I love the one that it says give me liberty or give me 31 flavors.
God damn it.
Like, people are poking fun at these people because they're being dumb. They're being idiots, and they're like when I went to the grocery store the other day, I was going out and I was getting some important ingredients for dinner, and that was pretty much it. I didn't need to get a lot. I went in, I checked the meat sections, fully stocked. I checked the fresh veggies, fully stocked. I walked down the frozen foods aisle and there was nothing. Like, it was. I mean, I was supposed to get a bag of fries so that we could cook them with dinner, and there was one left. And it was like, okay, guys, like, it's a pandemic. You should be getting canned goods, and while you can, meat. Like, calm yourselves. Don't get the frozen foods. Don't get General Tso's chicken.
I mean,
from Express.
You got to factor in the fact that a lot of people just don't know how to cook, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this is a telling time for it is that people buy a lot of the prepackaged frozen stuff because they're like, well, I can just easily make this at home, and that it's like, or you could buy a bunch of fresh stuff and like preserve it and freeze the meat and buy canned goods, like things like that. So
it's like, I'm a college student. I obviously love frozen food that you can easily reheat in the oven or a microwave, right? I would obviously never use a microwave because I'm not a heathen. But like, I love those kinds of things. And at this point in time, you got to acknowledge it's not going to give you as much protein or nutrition as you need. And it's really not that hard to learn to cook. And now's a really good time to do it. So
yeah, if you don't know how to cook, now's probably a good time to learn how to do a few dishes. Just because
I love the
it gives you something to do. Like,
there's the growing trend of people making their own bread. My
Plus,
family has done that for a little while, so it's great.
You're also going to be probably less active. A lot of people are probably going to be less active, so eating healthier is also a good idea during this time period. For not only the fact that you're less active, but it helps your immune system. So,
like, there's a lot of reasons. Like, and here's the thing too. What my family's been doing is like, hey, do you want to eat something specific? Yeah, okay, find a recipe. We'll get the stuff, and you can make it. So, over the past week, like, my brother made Chicago-style deep dish pizza, which was great. I made
the lasagna. Okay.
It
casserole.
It's a lasagna, but without the bullshit cheese in the middle. I hate ricotta.
Oh, that's good.
Oh no, ricotta should not be in lasagna. No, I agree
What do
with
you
that.
mean? Oh,
Fuck that.
man, you gotta have ricotta.
No,
Also,
you don't.
also instead of a pasta, it's like a cornbread, which I like more anyways.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm not a huge fan of cornbread.
It's all personal preference. I love Chicago style deep dish pizza. It's not pizza, it's a lasagna, and I hate lasagna, but I like Chicago style deep dish pizza. I made.
It tastes good. I'll give it that. Like,
oh yeah, it's great.
it's really all I ask for food.
I made the Nashville style spicy chicken sandwiches, which were, man, we made those way too hot. Holy crap!
Well, they're the best known places make them like insanely spicy. So
Right.
Dude, these were they were not shameful. They were very spicy. And then I made them again 2 nights ago, but I toned it down significantly. Still incredibly spicy.
Yeah.
I halved the cayenne pepper that we put in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And then also, like, we made like beer battered fish tacos. Like, my family's just like going out and trying to cook new things because we're bored.
Yeah.
And we're not bad at cooking. We just don't spend a whole lot of time doing it. And now that we have the time, my mom's decided to make the perfect cinnamon rolls. So
Even the girlfriend says that she wants to start cooking a bit more for herself. Normally, I do all the cooking. I have for like, I don't know, like 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Because I've worked as a professional cook, and my dad is a chef. Like, so I've always been in the kitchens, since I was a little kid. So I enjoy cooking. Like, so for me to do it is, she's not a fan of it, but now she's like, well, I'll give her something to do and stuff like that. So
it's a really good skill to have. If you take anything out of this podcast, first of all, watch Tower of God. Second of all, learn to cook.
Yeah, there you go.
Not to mention, like, if you're like a young single guy who listens to this, and I think we probably have more young male viewers and listeners than anything else, it's a good skill for dating.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, if you want to impress someone, like male or female, cook something for them that is really good. Like, they will.
Here's what you do.
It's one of the things people are like, ooh.
You take them out. You guys go to a grocery store together. You pretend you know what you're talking about. You buy all the ingredients. You go back. You make them food, and you give them leftovers. That's the strat. That strategy works. You're welcome.
And you make them Belgian waffles in the morning.
Oh, dude, I need to get a good waffle recipe.
I
do
just
not
made
have
those
one.
today, actually.
Oh, you sent me your waffle recipe.
There's a few good ones online.
Robert's waffles.
It's
But hey.
more like waffle recipes are pretty much the same. It's flour, sugar, baking powder.
I'm trying to find a good recipe that'll get good crispy outsides.
You need a good waffle iron.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then I have a waffle iron that makes waffle sticks. So
make sure you have like a decent waffle iron. Make sure to like either grease or butter your waffle iron. Make sure it's nice and hot before you put your stuff in. And another thing, if you want them nice and fluffy, is to mix your dry and wet ingredients separately. So when you're doing your wets, take your egg whites, but not the yolks. So the egg whites, your milk, vanilla extract if you're using that.
you should be.
Yeah, and melt your butter, mix that, and then with the egg yolks go in there. The egg whites, you're going to want to whip them into stiff peaks, like like you would do with a meringue or something, and then fold that into your batter. It'll make sure your butter
that'll keep it fluffy. Yeah,
it makes your batter really, really fluffy. And then just don't overfill your waffle iron is another thing people tend to do. Make sure you put it in the right amount, and make sure it's nice and hot, that you re-grease and reheat every single time you're doing a waffle, and you should be good to go.
Also, important thing is when you're folding in, don't overmix.
Yes, be very gentle when you're folding in. Do not overmixing. Basically destroys the point of making the whipped peaks in the first place. Like, you want to make sure it's just mixed just enough. It's nice, light, and fluffy and thick, and then don't overfill. Like, that's a lot of people like super overfill their waffle iron, so it pours down the sides. And the problem with that is that it also makes it so it's harder for the waffle iron to close and cook properly.
Yeah.
So you don't get as crisp as you want.
All right. Well, now that we've finished the cooking podcast, and the Star Wars podcast, and the anime podcast, hey Copper, where can people find you?
You can find me online at copperlinedesigns.com or Copperline Art, Copperline Designs on Twitter and Instagram, respectively. If you're looking to have anything done, I will have space open this
fall.
month, is it? Probably maybe this month and definitely next month, I would say, because you know that's the way she goes currently. Dale, where are you on the lines?
On the lines, you can find me online at twitch.tv/Mr. Vengeance, as well as Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Vengeance TV. Oh wait, no shit, twitch.tv/Mr. Vengeance TV. I have to add that now.
It's a learning period.
I
We're still
forgot.
getting there.
I forget things. Yeah, there's a TV at the end. Everything, it's all the same across the board now too, which is helpful. I wish I could not have the TV, but it is what it is. So yeah, Comfy. What are you up to this week, and where can they find it?
Oh, you can find me mixer.com/Comfimus, Twitter at Comfimus, Twitch at Comfimus, Instagram at Comfimus, and if you're really, really interested, you can email me at comfimus@gmail.com. Probably won't respond, but you can email me there. I don't know what I'm doing today. Probably playing Valorant.
Valorant. Yeah, you've been super into that.
I'm really enjoying it. And
shit, I did it myself. All right, that's it for the podcast.
No, that's it. I stopped myself.
It's my fault.
We didn't talk about Valorant. If you want to talk about that, but
hey, here's my 2-second bit. Give me a shorter format than best of 25. The end.
Here's mine. Remove your rootkit from your goddamn game.
Just bring that up for League of Legends too.
Yeah. All right, bye.